Now, last November, the U.S. government seized thousands of bitcoins from the online criminal marketplace known as Silk Road. The value of the bitcoins was around $1 billion when they were taken by federal agents. But with the price of Bitcoin tripling in value just since then, it's turned to be a significant windfall for the government. NBC News national security correspondent Ken Dilanian joins us now with more. Ken, good morning. So first, just give us some background on this seizure by the government last November. So what is Silk Road for people who don't know? And how were federal agents able to capture so many bitcoins from the site? How did that work?
Good morning, Savannah. Silk Road was an online dark web marketplace for criminal activity where people bought and sold contraband, including drugs. And it was shut down in 2013, and the founder was sentenced to life in prison. People paid in Bitcoin, which they thought was anonymous at the time. It turns out it really isn't. And that's how federal government was able to trace, 8 years later, some of this Bitcoin, which was actually stolen from the site. They seized it in November 2020. At the time, it was worth $1 billion. For bureaucratic reasons, they still have it. And Bitcoin has tripled in value since then, so it's now worth $3 billion. Unfortunately, most of the story of the federal government's Bitcoin seizures is not as happy as that. Often they have seized it years ago and sold it when the price was low. So the U.S. Marshals have auctioned off a total of 187,000 Bitcoin, which for a pittance, really, a couple of $100 million. If they had it now, it would be worth $10 billion, Savannah.
Goodness. All right. Yeah, I want to ask you a little bit more about now what to do with this new stuff from Silk Road. But before we get to that, so Bitcoin's become kind of this poster child for cryptocurrencies. Even if you don't know a lot about crypto, you've probably heard of Bitcoin. Is the government monitoring other digital assets for potential criminal wrongdoing? Because I know a lot of this stuff is happening on the dark web.
Yeah, it's not that they're monitoring the assets, but the government has had to stand up a massive operation to trace crypto, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the last 5 years. It's really remarkable. There are analysts from the IRS, the FBI, Treasury, who are all doing this. There are other currencies that are less transparent than Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a blockchain where you can see every transaction. So it's possible to trace Bitcoin. There's one called Monero where the blockchain is anonymous. And a lot of criminals have started to use that, including REvil, the ransomware group. But the problem with Monero is most people don't have it. It's really difficult to turn into cash, whereas Bitcoin has become almost ubiquitous, Savannah.
And now, Ken, now what? This $1 billion has turned to $3 billion. So does the U.S. sell those Bitcoins? Where does all that money go? You mentioned how they've kind of mishandled that in the past in terms of being able to get as much as they could out of it. But what does this mean, especially since it was seized due to illegal activity?
Yeah, it's not that they've mishandled it. It's just that the government is not in the business of holding crypto for investment purposes. They just auction it off when the time comes to do that. And that's what will happen with this currency. Unfortunately for the government, if they just held it, it would have appreciated a lot. Of course, it could crash to zero, right, in a couple of months. So they don't know. But they have reaped, billions of dollars from this seizure and other seizures, and they put it in these asset forfeiture funds, Savannah, and they use it to fund future investigations. So it does go to a good cause.
All right, Ken Dilanian, a lot of this is over my head, but you just helped me understand it in a way that I could actually grasp a little bit. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.